Hi, I'm Isabella, one of the co-founders of CamelAI, and I'm here today with Thomas Wong for a customer spotlight interview. Thomas, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alrighty, so my name's Tom, and I'm with Oasis LMS, and we have been using CamelAI for a little bit, and I definitely eager to share some of our experience.
Exciting. So, for a bit of an overview, Thomas and Oasis LMS is a user of our embedded product, so our AI data analytics embeddable UI in the front end of their product. So the first question is about business context. What product or service do you offer, and who are your end users?
Sure. So our platform is called Oasis LMS, and the LMS part stands for Learning Management System. So our business model essentially is B to B to C, where we provide the software for educators, such as, American Heart Associations, American Cancer Society, who need to then educate their end user, which will be the customer, on continuing education. So that can be, certifications or just webinars. So basically any sort of a professional education that people want to take when they're already in the workforce, that's sort of our target market.
Awesome. What specific pain point led you to seek a solution like Camel AI?
Sure. So I think any sort of fairly matured software as a service product will always run into the problem that we are running into, where the people's business runs on your software and they constantly need reports. And our joke is you can never have enough reports. Just when you think you have enough reports, they come up with new cases, new requirement that need additional reports. So we are constantly in this sort of a never-ending cycle of coming up with new reports. Our client base, even though they're all in education, they use our Oasis LMS for slightly different use cases, so that some of the reports might applicable to, say, blue clients, but not quite applicable for red clients. So there isn't a whole lot of, I would say, cases where one report is going to make everybody happy. So ability to create sort of almost, I won't say individualized, but very specific report that allows our client to describe what they really want is really important. And especially given the fact that my audience are not very tech savvy because they're all educators, ability to make this process easy is sort of something that we have been trying to solve for a long, long time. And that's really where CamelAI sort of turned the light switch on for us when we're seeking in the dark, so to speak. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure lots of folks can resonate with having completely different reports for completely different customers. The self-service tool really helps with that.
For sure.
So, next question is, what types of questions do your users typically ask that Camel AI now handles?
I will say that there's a tons of, I would say, reports that they probably can get from our system, but they sort of have to piece multiple reports together, or they will have one report where they have to filter it down. Now they can basically go to Camel AI and basically just ask the question, and that they will say, okay, I only care about, for example, purchases that was made in California by this type of user along this product line. Now they can just much easier generate that report than trying to sort of filter or merge reports that's already in the system. So that I would say is on the data side. But I think what's most intriguing and as the most powerful about Camel AI is allowing our clients to ask questions that we didn't even know that they want to ask. And that I think is really sort of magical about the AI part of Camel AI is it's able to interpret users' question and then be able to figure out the best way to get the data for them. And sometimes the question can be very open-ended. So a few examples I love is if you just ask a question like, do you see any patterns in how my users are buying the product to help me improve marketing strategy? Which in my mind is, if someone comes to me with that question, like I don't even know where to begin to write a report because it could be so many different things. But
Yeah.
when they asked CamelAI that question, it was able to identify different patterns. And I know this case because the client told me about it, is it's going to identify that there are some spikes of user registration that coincides with launches of some particular product. And those products drove additional purchases of the user who purchased the product that they launched at the beginning of the month. And for me, that was, I would say, is a magical part where you actually didn't even know you're going to get the answer that you're looking for. Those questions start to get additional questions. So they're starting to have this conversation with CamelAI, starting to give them answers and take them down probably a much different conversation than what they initially had in mind, right? So this particular client really drove down to the seasonal pattern of how they release their product versus how their customers are coming onto the website and how they can sort of better plan their product launch to drive more traffic to the website. But that would not even be possible because most of our clients may not be able to articulate the report that will make that connection, but the AI was able to make that connection, which I personally think is the most fundamental difference between a report that takes AI, used AI to truly sort of answer questions that's a little bit ambiguous or a little bit
Mhm.
sort of difficult to structure around, and to be able to provide true insights. I thought that was very, very cool.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, if it enables them to ask these deeper curiosity questions to actually help drive revenue, it sounds like, and sales. And
Yes,
had they not had the ability to ask, then it would have been, I mean, they probably just wouldn't have asked. One thing I've noticed with Camel too is that it it enables so many unknown questions to be answered that really do move the needle for many businesses.
for sure, for sure.
That was an amazing story. I can't wait to probably write more about that.
Yes.
So the next question is about setup and integration. How was the
Sure.
setup and integration process?
I want to say that the whole setup process is amazing. You have been awesome. And Mikhail on your team, who we have worked with, is by far the most responsive and the most knowledgeable person. And we didn't have any issues with setting up and the integration. Everything just worked out right away. So, and if there's any questions, we were able to reach out and get an answer right away. So your team has been amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, Miguel is so for those that are listening and don't know, Miguel is our CTO and my co-founder. He is at your beck and call if you need him to be 100%. So, trust and accuracy. How do you ensure that Camel AI understands your data and provides reliable answers?
So I will say that in the beginning, we operate under trust but verify in the sense that we will ask a question and the Camel AI will tell us the number. And because we know the actual SQL query that you should run, will run the query to verify the data coming back is accurate. And surprisingly, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but after quite a few positive tests, we're like, okay, this is trustworthy. So I would say at this point, we probably don't do a whole lot of verification at this point because we have done enough to have a high degree of a trust. So
I love that. Trust but verify. That's
yeah.
definitely the process we recommend for new users as well. So, comparative value. How does Camel AI compare to previous solutions that you have tried?
I want to say that we have been looking for solutions similar to this for a while, but we actually we didn't find any other solution that does what CamelAI does. There are a few other solutions that we know of, such as, Power BI or Tableau, that probably have similar capabilities. We never done enough research, but it's one of those, I would say, much more expensive ticket item that probably doesn't work for my client audience because they need something that doesn't require a lot of technical setup. What they really need is just ability to ask the question in a natural way and to be able to get the data in a natural way. And so I would say the only good comparison is CamelAI versus if we had to do something on our own to make this sort of baked directly into the system. And I know for a fact that we don't even know where to begin because it will be such a tall order try to do what CamelAI has already done. So I would say value proposition wise, it is through the roof because you guys are giving us something that we would not be able to offer to our client otherwise. So yes,
Totally. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
sure.
And then would you recommend Camel to other potential folks and builders and vertical SaaS owners out there?
I would say that if you have similar needs as I do, where you want to empower your users to be able to run their own reports, ask their own questions, and even find things that they didn't even expect to find, like just that little nugget of surprise now and then, it is a fantastic tool to, and the integration is so simple and straightforward. Like it's all the API access that we have access to be able to to be able to make sure that things are embedded correctly. Everything is really good. So definitely highly recommended.
That's awesome. And are there any additional insights that you might want to mention that we didn't get to cover today?
I think sometimes when you use a new technology, you sort of don't know what to expect because what you're expecting may not be exactly what you're getting. So sometimes you have to sort of just play with it, right? So, and I think what's really handy is the fact that CamelAI is very easy for you to just play around with, just quickly get an idea of what it is trying to do. So I know that I first find out about CamelAI, I logged in and I uploaded 2 Excel file. Just I happened to have on my computer, and I was able to see the value right away because it's obvious to you when you upload your own data and you're able to ask your own questions and you see the result come back. So I would say that any advice I have for anybody is, you seeing is believing. All you have to do is just upload like Excel file. Anybody can get their data in Excel format. That's like there's no reason why you would not even try it out to see what it does. It's very low threshold to experiment with CamelAI, and I'm just glad I did spend the 5 minutes to for me to be convinced for sure. So
That's great. Yeah, we tried to make it just try it as one of
yes.
our, ways for customers to interact with the product because that's the best, marketing mechanism is that you could just test it out.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for your time, Tom. This has
for
been a
sure.
great chat and I can't wait. I look forward to talking to you again.
For sure.
With that, I'm going to stop the recording. So let me
Alrighty.
go ahead and click this.